The IELTS listening section. You know, for so many test takers, this is the part they dread the most. But today, we're going to break down a complete game plan to help you not just survive it, but actually feel like you're in control. So let's start with a big question. You always hear people say, the speakers just talk way too fast. But is that really the problem? Is the speed of the audio the actual reason people get a lower score than they want? I think we might be pointing the finger at the wrong villain here.
You see, we think the problem is the speed, but the real issue, the thing that truly hurts your score, is what I call the snowball effect. It's what happens after you miss one tiny answer. Panic kicks in, right? Your brain freezes up, and bam! You've lost your focus for the next question, and maybe the one after that. That cascade, that one mistake turning into 3 or 4, is the real score killer.
Okay, so how do we stop that snowball from ever starting? Well, it all begins way before you even set foot in that exam room. This is our first phase, forging your defenses. And look, this isn't just about cramming vocabulary. It's about building up the mental armor you're going to need to stay cool and collected when the pressure's on.
Here's the 3-part plan to build that armor. First, daily exposure to native English. Second, some very specific speed training. And third, and this is crucial, you've got to simulate the exact test conditions. Do these 3 things, and you'll build both your listening skills and your mental toughness.
So for that daily exposure, you need to just immerse yourself in the language. Listen to a variety of accents. Think BBC for British, TED Talks for a lot of American accents, and find podcasts from Australia. Now, here's the most important rule. Do not slow it down. Resist that temptation. Start with subtitles if you have to, but the end goal is to get your brain used to processing English at its natural real-world pace.
All right, next up, speed training. This is a game changer. Once you're feeling okay with the normal speed, I want you to start listening to your practice materials at 1.25x or even 1.5x speed. Seriously, it's kind of like a runner training with weights on their ankles. It feels hard at first, but when you take them off for the actual race, or in our case, when you listen at normal speed on test day, everything suddenly feels, well, almost slow. It feels so much more manageable.
And finally, you have to practice exactly like it's the real thing. I mean exactly. Get your practice tests, put on your headphones, set a timer, and find a quiet room where you won't be interrupted. And absolutely no hitting the replay button. This is how you build the mental stamina to stay focused under pressure for the whole test. Okay, so you've done all the prep work, you're ready. Now let's shift gears and talk about your game plan during the test itself. This is where all that training pays off, where you execute your strategy when it really counts. Before each section of the audio starts, they give you this little gift, about 30 to 40 seconds of silence. Now, this isn't time to sit back and relax. Oh no. This is maybe the most valuable strategic moment in the entire test. So, what do you do with it?
Here's your mission for those 30 seconds. First, immediately scan the next 2 to 4 questions. As you're scanning, underline the keywords. These are the signposts that'll tell you when the answer is coming. Then, predict what kind of answer you're listening for. Is it a person's name, a date, a number? And finally, just mentally shut the door on the last section. It's over. All of your focus needs to be on what's coming next.
What you're doing here is basically a mental rehearsal. You're priming your brain for success. You're not just passively reading the questions, you're creating these little mental slots, telling your brain, okay, get ready to catch a time for question 11, then a place for 12, and then listen for a reason for 13. This makes your listening so much more active and targeted.
Now be warned, the test loves to lay traps for you. They're called distractors. You'll hear what sounds like the answer, something like, "Let's meet at 7 p.m." But then the speaker will immediately correct themselves. "Oh, you know what? No, sorry, let's make it 7:30. You have to train your ear to listen past that first piece of bait and wait for the final confirmed answer. It often comes after words like "but," "actually," or "oh, wait." This next rule might be the toughest one to follow, but it is so important. You have to be ruthless. If you miss an answer, you cannot get stuck on it. The audio is not going to wait for you. Make your best guess, put something down, and then immediately, and I mean immediately, shift your focus to the very next question. You have to stay in sync with the recording.
So, the audio finishes. You made it! But wait, the race isn't quite over yet. You get those precious 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the official answer sheet. This is not just bonus time. It's a critical phase where you can either lock in all your hard-earned points or lose them to simple, silly mistakes. So let's use a checklist. First things first, go through and double-check your spelling and any numbers you wrote down. These are the easiest marks to lose. Next, check the word limits for each question. Did it say no more than 2 words? Make sure you followed that. And please, make sure you haven't left any blanks. A guess is always better than an empty space. And finally, just take a quick look. Is your handwriting easy to read? If the examiner can't read it, they can't mark it right. Okay, but let's be realistic. What happens if, despite all this amazing planning, you're in the middle of the test and you feel that wave of panic start to rise? This is where your mindset really comes into play. You need a simple, rehearsed plan to pull yourself back from that edge. So here it is, your 3-step emergency drill. Step 1, acknowledge you missed it. Just accept it and let it go. Don't fight it. Step 2, in your head, say the word next really firmly. This is like your mental reset button. And step 3, immediately force your brain to re-engage by looking at the next question. Start predicting the answer type, just like we practiced. This little process breaks that panic cycle and yanks you right back into the game. And never underestimate the simple power of your own body. That little pause you get between the different listening sections, use it. Take one slow, deep breath. It can actually lower your heart rate, clear out the mental clutter, and give you a fresh start for the next part of the test. It sounds simple, but it is so powerful. So really, what all of this comes down to is a huge shift in how you think about the test. The speed and the pressure aren't just things that happen to you. They are challenges that you expect, that you prepare for, and that you have a specific plan to overcome. You're turning what could be a panic attack into a focused sprint, a sprint that you've trained for and that you are ready to finish strong. So, we've walked through the strategy, the training, and the emergency plan. The only thing left to figure out is right here on the screen. What is your personal plan going to be when you miss an answer? Are you going to use that next command? A deep breath? Decide on it now and practice it, because having that one simple automatic action ready to go is the real key to mastering this test.